Well, hello everybody, and welcome to this mysteriously changing show
Hmm.
we call Metaworld News, or MBTV News as it may become known.
Ah.
Um, well, you know, using a meta word is a bit meta-y, and what's the matter with meta-y? What's the matter with matter? Never mind. Getting confused already. Anyhow, as we told you last week, we're sort of returned to studio in Open Simulator. In fact, we're housed at the Safari, Hypergrowth Safari Simulator, which in turn is now housed by Avacon, the grid called Avacon. So if you want to find me, it's like Mal Burns at Avacon grid. Avacon or something like that. Anyway, not much matters. You can search for me, but we've got all sorts of tools, and we're rather used to being here in OpenSim. And I'm staring through the back of my head. Yes, it is possible, folks. At the YouTube monitor, and I think we're looking fine. The only thing you will notice is, unlike James, my avatar does not have any flapping lips at the moment. I'm told that I've been put in touch with somebody who I haven't heard back from yet, who apparently um, can make the lips flat for me. Either that or I will change avatars. We'll see what happens. But many of you will be used to this one because you see me on Safari, you see me at the OSCC. I use this avatar for interviews there, and yeah, it's and I use this avatar in Sciencebase and in Vicadia and various places actually. um Tivoli, yeah, that's the other one. So it's a pretty useful portable avatar, and its lips do move inside space, so it can't be that much of a problem to fix. Right. Okay, so we're in a new location, but otherwise everything is pretty much a bit of the same. We're just going to be bringing you this week's highlights, and since today is the 20th of February of the year 2022, it
Woo.
figures that these are the highlights for the week ending the 20th of February 2022. Although I'm sure you can watch us throughout the week and throughout the century, probably, as long as the servers are still up and running somewhere. Hello, YouTube. Thank you, YouTube, etc., etc. Right, before I before I go on and on and on, as usual, may have changed location, but I'm still joined here by my colleague James Atlloud. Hello, James.
Well, hello, Mal. How are you?
I'm absolutely fine, but I know one thing I'm missing. It's the loud T-shirt.
No, I know. I'm back to my old, good gracious, my suit, my open neck shirt. What good
Yeah,
times. But I've got gray hair, which is nice. You know, Sansar, everything is so youth oriented, so it's nice to be back to my aged avatar again.
yes,
I
yeah, I
appreciate
agree.
being able to represent ageism. And in fact, you know, Age was quite an article that was posted lately by I think Ryan Schultz was looking for an aged avatar. And so, you
Oh,
know, yay for old people. We
yeah,
make Second Life and Open Sim go.
I have many aged avatar and recruitments in Second Life,
Yeah,
actually.
yeah.
Although I'm just a little pussycat these days, which is as neutral as you get. You know, you can go anywhere from, well, underwater, he looks a bit awkward, but, outer space, on land in any period of history, pussycat works.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, yeah. And of course, there is plenty of choice of costumes and clothes and things here anyway.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we'll,
And, you
maybe.
know, here we are in Open Simulator and our hands work. So, you know, look at my hands. They're going
Yes,
crazy. I am doing what you always say I'm doing with the
but you're,
TW word.
yeah, yeah. I was going to say you're copying me, but my thumb, my left thumb has got a bit more. No, that's down to the avatar rather than my
Yeah, yeah,
movement.
yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to say it's a bit like we're dancing, using those puppets where you have
Yeah, the
got like that.
marionettes.
Yeah, like dancing hands. I mean, I'm looking at the screen as it was 2 minutes ago, probably, but yes, it looks quite good. Mind you, I should turn around and look at the look at the real screen and my news desk for that matter.
Huh.
Yeah, okay. So I always, when I introduce James, I always say the other great thing, of course, is that behind the scenes he's fiddling with knobs. There's slightly different arrangement of knobs this week and from now on, but it means basically positioning cameras to pick up me, pick up him, pick up different angles, pick up the screens behind us, and ultimately pick up my actual desktop transmission, as it were, where I'm sharing items of news. And they're on display beside me in World here. There's also just about enough room for a few odd people to pop in here
Oh yeah, yeah.
from now on if you're on OpenSim. And in fact, the other set behind us here you can't see for the in-world review, which we're bringing back, can actually accommodate even more people. I forget how many, but there's a lot of chairs there. But some of them have to be adjusted because when you sit down, you're facing the wrong way. But we'll get that sorted. Don't worry. Right. Okay. I will. Yep. I've given you the dates, haven't I? No, I
Hmm.
haven't.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yes. Yes, I did.
Yep.
God, I don't know whether I'm coming or going, do I? Right. Okay. Okay. So yes, we look good sitting at this. I must say. Right. Okay. Well. Oh yeah. I've introduced James Atlloud. I haven't introduced myself this week.
Hmm.
That's just a major oversight, isn't it? My name is Mal Burns, Mal, one word, Burns. The second word, but if you want to find me on Twitter and anywhere else on the interwebs, really, you're going to have to squash me. And I don't like being squashed, but I'm afraid I have to put up with it, don't we all? Twitter.com/MALBURNS. And the reason I tell you that is that the links to go with the news here um, are all posted there. There's a hell of a lot more too. We're just using selected ones from this show now. I mean, I have a search engine that searches for the word metaverse. Can you imagine what's been happening the last few months? No possibility of covering all those articles. Not that one will want to, given the state of many of those articles anyway. So that's how to find me, and then we're going to move on to some of the news now. Before we do, I'm just going to put. You'll notice that on our screen, the pictures, there's the logo for our other show, the In-World Review, coming back there. There's a little animated bit on the actual intro, which you'll see whenever we do the first show. And I thought it's about time that I did something that was in memory of my partner, Tara Yates, who passed nearly 2 years ago now. That little cat there is my Second Life avatar. And this was a memorial we built up in Chilbo for her. I thought it was nice to. We'll have that up there for
Yep, yep.
a few seasons, just as a sort of tribute, because she was part of it. Now, I had a crash on my Mac here just before we came on air, which means I will have to leave it for now. I was going to do a little bit of a history thing on the In-World Review, and I've got the original title sequence, which Tara did the music for, and also it includes pictures of us and people like Slim Warrior and Ham Rambler and Crap Mariner and all our regulars from the days when it was a sort of like a Zoom call, really. And I thought I'd show you that again, and I might actually revive the music that she did behind that intro because it's another sort of tribute, which. But we'll get round to that. Unfortunately, because the Mac crashed, it took away all the preloaded videos because they were following network links, and when the Mac crashed, it lost the network, didn't it? Clever. If it's not one thing, it's another. So. Anyway, that's our splash for the In-World Review. I'm quickly moving on here. We will come to this later. There is a Discord channel for OpenSim Fest, and there will be. It's more of a sort of users festival with entertainment and stuff like that. It's going to be happening in July this year, and that's their bright logo there. I like that logo actually. It makes a change. Simple but effective. And that's going to be happening in July, so we'll be keeping you kind of abreast of that. Also, this actually is quite literally just a picture from the feeds. I think it was Dr. Fran who sent this. But there's now there's going to be a new grid called Uver, which again is a clone of Vicada, which itself is a clone of High Fidelity like Tivoli. So, in the absence of hyperdeity, we'll actually now have 3 grids that are actually using that. It's not anything to do with the overt foundation, which used to be part of Agency. I don't know what made them call it that. And I don't even know what the actual distinction will be between that and Vicadia, but the more the merrier. That's it. Nothing online yet I can find, but very imminent apparently. And I think that picture may be taken in it, even though it's not live, if you see what I mean. So yes, that I guess is going to be good news. More the merrier, as they say. Okay, the God Emperor Zuckerberg. I have a little bit of history here. I've got to really point this sort of stuff out, just in case you forget. It is, 2003. He was a second-year student at Harvard. He wrote a software site called Face Mash. Not Face Smash. Face Mash. Oh, I don't know about that. Believe it or not, he also hacked into the university's security network, copying student ID images used by the dormitories and pasting them into his site code. Visitors of Face Mash were encouraged to compare 2 student photos side by side and then vote on which one was the hottest. Hasn't changed much, has it really? 3 days after its launch, Face Mash was shut down by Harvard executives. After dodging charges of breach of security, violating individual privacy, and narrowly avoiding expulsion, Zuckerberg would launch a new website to connect with his peers, the Facebook. His road to riches was set, but so will be his controversy-laden trail. So there we go. A little bit of history there. That's literally 2002. That is 19 years ago.
Amazing.
Still looks like a bit of a prat, doesn't he? Right. And yeah, this is then the other new one this week. I think we might have announced them this week. This is actually a copy of, from one of my magazines. Sir Nick Clegg, as he is now, I've forgotten that. He used to be our Deputy Prime Minister. And he's now been appointed President of Global Affairs. He was actually Vice President of Global Affairs already, but is now President of Global Affairs. And therefore, he's been promoted as this article, I think it was The Guardian or something, it's called the Master of the Metaverse. And he was once the second most powerful man in Britain. Now he may just become the joint second most powerful person in Silicon Valley, or the world if you mean, if that's Facebook, in charge of decisions that affect 3.6 billion people around the world. So Nick Clegg, former Deputy Prime Minister, has been promoted to President of Global Affairs at Meta, the company known formerly as Facebook, where he will be responsible for all policy matters and social media drives. I think all international policy. I don't know. Maybe all policy matters. I mean, this is not the man who I voted for as leader of our Liberal Democrat Party once a time, but he is still, in my opinion, slightly more sound of mind than Zuckerberg himself. So, yeah, there we go. Right, and yes, I think we're at the end of. I had all sorts of weird and wonderful things here. It's amazing what a crash does. They all go away.
Mm-hmm.
So we will click on that and get rid of it. Oh dear, I've got another problem out there, but that's something else. Right, okay, so we're here are the news links for the week. As I said, we always start off with a little plug for this. It's thescarghost.com, and we've even got a sound effect. I guess we can still use that, can't we?
I think so.
Yahoo! The Scarred Ghost, indeed, or the Howling Wolf. It's more like it, actually. Oh, just finished listening to my blues program. But that was Paul Jones, not Howling Wolf. Never mind. SKARREDGHOST.com is the site you want to go for this. And this is published on Monday, Valentine's Day as it would happen, February 14th. It's called the Exile Week Peak, and it actually looks back at the previous 7 days. So, in other words, not the last week that we're looking back, but the week before that. And as you can see, a little roundup here. A lot of talk always about Steam and about Meta. and stuff like that. Um, oh, apparently, I don't think I've got it here, but on one of my posts, there was some information about there's a hack that allows you to use, I think it's Twitter, but also especially Discord in the Meta Quest headset. It's some kind of hack that allows you to run it the information.
Side loading it, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Um, but yeah, as I say, this is just a brief quickie looky see here at the Exile Wheat Peak, and I'm going to put that straight away because it's old news, but it's good news if you see what I mean. Right, this was a nice one I chose for this week. This is a site called the Bulletin. .org. I say it's nice. A VR journey into the nuclear bunker offers chilling lessons on US nuclear policy. So I don't mean the subject matter is nice. I mean it's a nice, good, immersive sort of experience. Okay, this release, as it were, that I'm talking about here comes from a site called thebulletin.org. So it's THEBULLETIN.org. And yeah, that's where you'll find it. Okay, enough pictures of helmets. Here's the intro thing. Mr. President, we have a national emergency. Please follow the military officer right away, a voice says as the alarm blares. Evacuated to a secure facility, the president is greeting with a digital clock counting down from 15 minutes. Mr. President, this is strategic command. If you don't make a decision before the time on that clock hits 0, we will lose our entire ICBM force. The president is then presented with 3 recommended attack options, the least of which predicts 5 million to 15 million casualties. If an immediate decision isn't made, the voice becomes adamant. Mr. President, I need your guidance. So begins the nuclear biscuit. A virtual reality experience that allows players to wargame against a missile attack from the point of view of the US president. So if you ever fancy playing Biden, or worse still, Trump, then here's your chance. You get the red button, and you got to make decisions.
I really would not want to do that.
Yeah, but on the other hand, I can see that being educational for people who don't really have a moral compass, who could use one. But anyway, yeah, interesting. I thought it was worthy of note anyway.
Yeah.
So put that one away. Okay. The Omi Group org. This is a group I go to their main meeting every week over on Discord. They have a lot of other meetings because they have a lot of working groups on every subject you can imagine to do with the open metaverse and interoperability. Anyway, they have now. I'm actually the site I'm actually at is omigroup.org. omigroup.org. And although they've been on Twitter and all over the place for a long time, this site, omigroup.org, is brand new and came online this week. Don't know what's happened to the logo there. It's maybe changed. It's become highly minimalist, but never mind. I think you meant to see that small, if you see what I mean. Okay. Champion freedom of choice and diversity. Telling people how to get involved. GitHub, Discord, Open Collective, and various other things. And presumably there'll be more buttons to press on that site as time goes by. I will actually just peek at the website. Yeah, there we are. It's very simple at the moment, but a few links about getting involved and stuff like that. Oh, and they have their own calendar. So it's a Google Calendar, so you can subscribe to it in your own calendar and see where all their events are happening. There's almost something every day somewhere. And of course, they are totally cross-platform, so it's open source metaverse kind of thing. That could be anything from OpenSim through to Roblox and various other things that might have some open source components. So the interaction between them, but it is strictly a open metaverse interval actual project, so to speak. So do bookmark that, and Back there. Okay, so I shall remove that one. Okay, another interesting site here. This is jackalheartswordpress.com. That's interesting. Its site logo, its icon is a skull. But this is an interesting article in its own right, though. jackalhearts.wordpress.com. And it's fascinating to see many journalists state things like the metaverse might be interesting, but using a VR helmet for work meetings and social life is not feasible. And Jungle Heart says they are correct. Headsets are uncomfortable, can cause motion sickness in many people, and sometimes present technical difficulties, create too high a barrier for usage. Your average middle manager who struggles to get a Zoom meeting, the idea of them putting on a helmet every day for work is laughable, and etc. etc. Now, this isn't actually against helmets or anything else like this. It's a more general sort of discussion on issues. It covers VR chat and Second Life 2 and stuff. He doesn't actually specify that Second Life is not helmet compatible, although there is a workaround thing that somebody does. Anyway, just a general little article there, which is called Virtual Reality versus Virtual Reality. Two sides of the same coin, I guess. jackalhearts.wordpress.com. I'm moving on. Right, this is a long interview. Guess who? It's the Skull Ghost again. So cue the music, or the howling, or whatever it is. Oh, yes, howling. We is a howling. Right. Styly, Styly, makes creation and distribution of cross-platform XR content easy. And you can sign up for free. Interesting. This ties in with the idea of the open metaverse and all that. The idea is XR stands for extended reality, which of course includes mixed reality and virtual reality. But Styly is, I think it's based in Japan. You're talking about Japan and the M word. What's all that about? Okay. Scar Ghost really does go in for long kind of posts here, actually. Basically, this is an interview with the guy who's actually doing Styly. It's essentially for creators, so the experienced developers and even those new to digital can create things that will then be workable in a lot of different words. So a creator familiar with Unity and 3D modeling can create an XR scene and then upload to Styly through the Unity plugin, where a multi-format version of the scene will automatically be created and hosted, allowing anybody to view a scene using a VR HMD, head-mounted display. This allows experienced artists to easily share their work. Additionally, Styly presents an opportunity for builders to build directly in VR, which is more like the OpenSeam Second Life model, I guess. And if you're unfamiliar with Unity or looking for a no-code solution, you can use Styly Studio in a browser or in VR to import your assets and arrange the visual inputs. So you could be in your helmet and you could import your furniture and still inside the helmet arrange the room and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, now it does appear to be free at the moment. I don't know whether it's going to stay that way. They're obviously running servers, and to a certain extent they're going to be hosting assets by the look of it. So we'll have to see. But as you can tell, Tony Vitilla, who of course is the Skull Ghost, has gone into some depth here with both the interview and his own sort of summary. So you find that at skullghost.com, SKARREDGHOST.com, the same place you find the Week Peak. Moving on, and this is not the Week Peak. This is this week in XR, and this is the version at Forbes of Charlie Fink's roundup. So FORBES.com, direct page link via twitter.com/Mal Burns, as with all the other things here. Talking about Meta's ad in the Super Bowl. Hang on, oh god, I've lost that one too now. Never mind. did not go down well. Separated and alone, one sad, shaggy dog musician is rescued from the jaws of a trash compactor and repurposed in a kid's science museum. Someone puts on a helmet at closing time and it's transported to virtual questies in Horizon Worlds with his old bandmates. Oh, no. But most of the little opus, you actually have no idea it was a MetaQuest commercial. And also Meta screwed up something else too, and after the Super Bowl, forget the ad, a band called the Foo Fighters, Dave Grohl's band, were actually they were playing the halftime thing, but they also did a special Metaverse concert afterwards that you couldn't help but hear about. And it was in a proto metaverse known as Horizon Venues, but nobody could even get in to see it. The company said it was taken by surprise by unprecedented demand. Apparently, you couldn't even watch it properly streamed on Facebook Live, and that was just a video stream. So, it's a bit like what was Decentraland, I think it was, some time ago.
Yes.
Had that big raid. Yeah,
That's
they had
right.
a big raid, didn't they, for the
Yep.
statues because nobody could move.
Nobody came.
People just. Sorry.
Nobody came, right?
No. Oh, it's like that old. What's it? John Lennon said, "Wouldn't it be great if they held a war and nobody came?"
And nobody came, right?
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you actually. It's quite funny when nobody comes, but I actually find it rather sad now because this is happening more and more. But, as people just realise that their idea of the metaverse is not just blockchain assets and stuff like that. They've got to have venues and have people, so they go to the great lengths to promote themselves and get loads of people coming to events and stuff like that, and they don't work. I mean, we've been doing this for 20 years in Second Life and Open Sim and places like that, and you after 50 people, you slow down, you get lagged out. Now there are ways around that, platforms like that use sharding, it's called, to create multiple copies of the venue. Sciencebase, even Sansa, can sort of get around it, but not to any huge extent. But if you're going to hold a virtual event, where you're going to invite people to come in with avatars and hang around in the audience and hopefully talk to each other, inviting 3 billion people in is not exactly ideal. And even if it worked, can you imagine trying to get heard over the voices of 3 million people? The other interesting thing this week is that I mentioned last week that because some woman who claimed to have gotten raped in, I think it was Zuckerberg Horizons or something, and they've introduced a sort of bubble around people, so you can't approach people. You can't shake hands with them or do any of the things you might hope an avatar would do with fellow avatars. Not to mention other things, tut. But having taken a page from Meta's book, as it were, Microsoft have done the same this week with AltSpace VR. You can now no longer approach another avatar because there is a bubble preventing you getting any kind of proximity to another avatar. This, apparently, in Microsoft's words, is to discourage harassment or something like that. But I think, in terms of ambience and, stuff like that, it's going to be more of a problem than it's worth. I mean, AltSpace VR is pretty damn popular, but, it might not be so for long if people suddenly realise, hang on, why can't I walk closer to you and stuff like that? Anyway, this is the problem. This big, people like Linden Labs and whatever would never have thought of doing this stuff. At least you could IM them if there was a problem with harassment or something. But can you imagine walking around OpenSim or Second Life with a great big bubble that doesn't allow you? I mean, James and I would not be able to sit here at this desk. We've got a nice screen between us, which is a COVID thing. Because poor old avatars might catch COVID, might they? That's one of our new little gimmicks. Well, it's not a gimmick, it's serious. The Queen's got COVID, for God's sake. We're none of us are safe. But that's aside. Can you imagine if we had a bubble that was preventing us getting within about 10 meters from each other or something, we wouldn't be able to even sit at this desk and do this program. It would destroy the whole shebang. So, good on you, Microsoft. I do not consider the God Emperor Zuckerberg to be a role model, even for people like you. But you've done it, you've done it. Right, moving on. So that was at Forbes.com, Charlie's roundup, so to speak. Moving down. Believe it or not, we haven't got a single post from Voices of VR this week.
Yep.
That must go down. That, I think, goes down in history.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like it does anyway.
Right.
But this is now got about the future of non-profits in VR by somebody called April Miller. And she's at the AR Insider, which is ARINSIDER.co, not com, just the co. And she's looking at non-profit organizations, how they use VR, and storytelling and all different aspects of it. Quite a exhaustive little article, not a massively long one, but worth reading. And she says we can expect VR to become much more popular in the non-profit sector. Very interesting, actually, that when you read these articles, they are mostly talking about helmet. When they say VR, or even the metaverse these days, they're talking about worlds that need a helmet, which is not really my forte. They're going to be here to stay, but can you imagine everybody in the world wearing a helmet? But something you can put on when you need it as a little exercise. It's fine. Okay, so April Miller there at what did I say? It was ARInsider .co, and very coming pretty much to the end of this week. Okay, this there's a little bit of video coming up at this later, but the second annual Polys Awards celebrated another year of WebXR. This was midweek. It took place in the multi-metaverse, whatever the hell that is.
Wow.
Future Wave Technologies and Meta VRS. It was streamed live on Twitch, YouTube, and the Augmented World Expo site. And viewers visiting were in both Old Space VR, Engaged, Hubs, Frame, and VR Land. The viewing options didn't just grow, the number of categories has gone up from 11 to 17. Now, just for those of you who don't know, WebXR is referring to, XR is kind of mixed reality, virtual reality, extended reality, or whatever. But it's an umbrella term. But the prefix web means that all these things are actually accessible in web browsers. So it may feel like you've logged into a virtual world or a game or something, and you use your arrow keys to move around or whatever you do in each given platform. But the thing they have in common is that they're authored on top of a standard web canvas. You don't need to download plugins or indeed external programs to visit these worlds. Arguably, some of them still sort of use an invisible plugin. In other words, if they're doing something very complex on the layers in HTML or whatever scripting language they're using, that the script may be in a little container that's sort of like a plugin, but it loads on demand. It doesn't require you to have a plugin in your actual browser. So so this was the second year they did the awards. I think, although we haven't got Voices VR this week, I think we'll be hearing from Kent Bai next week, because he was certainly tweeting virtually every day here. He was going from one thing to another, and presentations by Orion Imbar, who's the president of org or whatever. So this is basically a roundup of all the things. Also talking about the platforms like Babylon and A-Frame and React, which are actually the authoring software that allows you to create these apps on the web. Some notes on things like Somnium Space, which is not web-based, but they can adopt to Ready Player Me avatars, which are sort of cross-platform and certainly work by and large with everything on the web that uses an avatar, except quite possibly the Zuckerbergers.
And Open
Also,
Simulator.
yeah. The other interesting about, bear in mind that Meta used to be called Facebook and stuff like that, or what was it, Face Mash? That sounds a bit more palatable than Facebook, doesn't it? Um, with all the bad news after things crashing after Super Bowls and everything else like that, um, God Emperor appeared early in the week with another piece of news. I suppose basically to take away from the bad news as usual. Um, he is launching, will you believe it, MetaMates. Now, aren't all your friends already Facebook friends? Why do you need to have a MetaMate too? But no, they presumably will have an avatar-based site called MetaMates, which will be like a Facebook for avatars. But then again, Facebook wants to put avatars into there. So what is the point? Why not just bring the avatars straight into Facebook? Who knows? But anyway, people have been teasing the idea of MetaMates all week, yeah. So there was a great little song in Second Life Pookie Amsterdam produced some years ago, which is a virtual world pastiche on a song. Do you want to date my avatar? It was called. And I immediately thought of that when I heard this thing of metamates. Would you want to date my metamate? Kind of thing. It rhymes, doesn't it? Date metamate. Anyway, yeah. By the way, one of the major awards here went to Wonderland Engine, which it's an independent engine, but its long history goes back to what's the name of them? I'm going to say Amazon, but it's not Amazon.
Active
Sun Microsystem.
Oh, okay.
They launched Wonderland as their virtual world, probably about the time, not that long after Second Life got going. In fact, there was an interview with them on Metanomics by Bayers at one point, but then it was open sourced, and now it's gone its own way. But it's still around, and it's considered by many to be, a totally open source kind of on a par with like Unity and the Unreal Engine. So it's out there. Games of the Year, Ombuds Person of the Year. Oh, that's a good one. Oh, Ken Bai. Oh, nice. Right. No wonder he was there such a lot. I didn't actually get round to reading this sentence. So he was the Ombudsman or Ombuds Person of the Year. And it fell to select an honoree too. He chose Aviv Barziv, of course. Yeah, I knew that. Yeah. Anyway, good old roundup here, and probably interesting. If like me, you're one of these people that really can't read about all these metaverses and things popping up left, right, and centre, but are particularly interested in like the subcategory of things that are available on the web, the ordinary web and your ordinary browser, then this is actually a very good little roundup to read. It really covers an awful lot. So you'll find this at arpost.co, arpost.co. And removing that item. Back to a familiar site. This is Upload VR. And I don't know about you folks, but way before we had VR or even computers, there was a board game called Magic the Gathering. Mm-hmm. Used to have a lot of art associated with, and there were even a few comics, from that world, so to speak. Anyway, there's a virtual exhibition showcasing the art of Magic the Gathering, and it's moving from 2D into VR, so it's like a helmet exhibit, although you don't need a helmet, by the way. The exhibit runs from February the 18th to 24th via a social VR platform called Exambar, Xambr. And they're the same that hosted a virtual version of the Tokyo Game Show last year. The event will allow you to explore the art of the popular card game with others. And it ties in with a launch and whatever. 83 different artists are involved. As I say, it's been going a long time, so there's been plenty of time for different artists to get to work on doing stuff. And event kicks off at 10 a.m. Japan time, and you'll be able to see it or attend it in Quest 2 and PC VR, which basically is the helmet world, isn't it? You'll also be able to visit in flat screen on a PC, and the article here has got links you can go for. It clicked itself. Naughty, you can't click yourself. I think my mouse must have slipped. Right, okay, so there are actually links where you can find out how to get there on the flat screen, or indeed download, or whatever you need to do for those of you living in Helmet World. Right, okay, so and this release itself, you'll find it Upload VR, uploadvr.com. And yeah, we come to the last link of the week, news-wise, so to speak. Just how great is the metaverse? Not very, according to Meta Super Bowl ad. Well, I mentioned this earlier. It's a bit of a flop. I love this. This is mediapost.com, mediapost.com. And like I say, it almost makes you sad now. I mean, you know that I am no friend of the god Emperor Zuckerberg, but it seems every day he finds something new to talk about to cover up two things that happened the previous day that are a complete flop. He's just get the impression that he's really not on top of all this. Anyway, Zuckerberg did actually stress that the concept was still a long way off. That's the metaverse according to him. Oh dear. But that will be tomorrow, if you see what I mean. God knows where he is, what is. Okay, so the review here is saying, I'm not saying the metaverse is a non-starter, it may work, but the vision presented here is too sterile and antiseptic to seem like much fun. Right now it seems Meta's version of Google Glass or MySpace. So there you go, just a short little anecdotal thing. And that is it for the news items this week. Have you got any comments, James, while we're at this stage?
The only thing that came to mind was, are you going to look at any Upload VR, the VR download?
Oh, yeah, we're about to move into the quick video.
Yep. So my comment would be there. Yeah. So, nope.
Okay, fine. Yep. You can just butt in as we come to that.
Yep.
Okay, well, moving down, I don't think I've got one from Tuesday, but they are sort of merged, aren't they, with Dream Realities now. So anyway, we'll go down. Okay, these ones I posted today, though they have come in for the last couple of days. The video version of Charlie Fink and Ted Shilowitz's thing with a guest called Greg Castle. That's been up a couple of days. There's an audio podcast version floating around all over the place too. It's where they sort of talk about the news. Interesting enough, but nothing special for me to play it for you. Between Realities, again, this was up yesterday. Future of VR cloud gaming, Between Realities. Now I think have you watched this one, James?
No, I haven't.
Oh, right, okay. I didn't fully, but it's the normal format they have here, but I know that they are sort of combining in some respects with Upload VR.
Rendering, is that something, because that has to happen super latency free, right? Like when you look at something and the rendering changes.
Okay. All very interesting, general and technical at the same time, really. So that's the latest one there. And the F Reality podcast also appeared yesterday. This is really talking about, they're focusing this week on stuff coming to PSVR 2, which of course is this PlayStation VR console, but the version 2 is of course pretty much brand new. Also, I have, where did this come from originally? Okay, well, it's sort of interesting. So YouTube, it's called Making a Newspaper Interview in VR with Realistic Adults, Philosophy and Sushi. And it's a bit unusual.
Well, at the FT, I've done several lunches with the FT before. One reason was because I'm in London and David Chalmers is in New York, and it was a good way of connecting. But I think the main reason was that David has written this really fascinating book, Reality Plus, which is about VR.
Interesting. This chap is from the Financial Times, so it's a big newspaper, right? And he did the interview with David Chalmers in VR. So he's talking about what they did. So it's a bit about the VR aspect of it. Oh, well, this is great. We're in VR kind of thing. But also an interview with somebody who's, I mean, David Chalmers' book has been around for about 10 days ago, I think it was released. But it's getting quite a bit of mileage anyway. So if you want to, basically, the idea of the interview is to be talking about, it's 7 minutes, it's not that long, well, 8, talking about his book. But the fact they do it in VR, they've made a kind of feature of the interview there too. And like all the stuff in my feed here, you can click through to watch it on YouTube and subscribe and stuff like that. This again, by the way, all these links you will also find on my Twitter feed, but they're relayed from this feed, which is at Mastodon, which is where I keep all these sort of special videos, so to speak. You can go to Mastodon Social, MASTODON.SOCIAL, and then / at Metaworld. You need the at symbol and then Metaworld. So it's Mastodon.social / at symbol Metaworld, and that will get you there. And it's now appearing on your screen.
Yep.
For your donation at home. So very good. Thank you, James. On the ball there. Right. Now, I've just been mentioning the Exile Awards. And here they are, actually on YouTube. I don't know why. Just double checking. Yeah, this is fine. You can click through. Okay, you've got 4 hours of those, should you wish to watch them. For some reason, and I don't know what, the embed has come up a bit wonky here. In fact, it's not a full embed. I'll try and fix that at some point. And back to February the 12th. Oh, well, we're past that now. So, now I went hunting for an upload VR earlier in the week. It's Monday or Tuesday it normally comes out, isn't it, James? And once again, I didn't find one.
Oh, okay. It might have been the Games Cast also. Maybe that's what I watched.
Oh yes, I've got that, but
Yep.
I don't as a rule, embed that because it is games. It's very specific. I tend anything that touches on virtual reality, XR interfacing, and things open virtual worlds is fair game. But when they get into when it's a games cast, if 2 minutes in the hour mentions Second Life or some social world, that's not enough for me to want to collect the video, so to speak. So one of the reasons I run the Mastodon feed here is that not only can I put videos in one place, but it's a very good way for me to collect them. If I want to, if it's stuff I haven't got offline, if you see what I mean, I can come here to find things quickly. I also use something called VodPod, which bookmarks videos, but sadly, it doesn't work in YouTube, which is probably the one place you really want it to work. Right, okay. Well, I guess that's that. Okay, finally, we can go to the video thing here. Now, I'm just going to try and make a note of what time it is now, because we're now at the end, 48 minutes. Oh, I've done it. I'm under the hour.
Okay.
Right? Okay, and that was a long prelude for that too. So basically, this has been quite a quick show, but we've been considerably quicker than normal. But this is going to be the aim from now on, because although we're not doing it today, on the hour at 8 p.m. in the UK and midday in Pacific time, we'll be popping around the corner here to our other stage, which is for the In-World Review, which is going to be a discussion show with guests and audience and things like that. We'll probably do the odd bit, but we won't really get going for a while because we want to get guests lined up and everything else like that several weeks ahead, so that we don't end up chasing our own tail half an hour before the show trying to find somebody to come on, which unfortunately was the case, eventually became the case with our original incarnation of the show. I'll have to leave it to next week to do the little talk about the history of the InWorld review, because the clips I actually had to show you to go with this have sadly gone the way of ways when my Mac crashed just before the show. I haven't got those handy. The only clips I've got to show you this week, and these are clips that from now on will be part of the InWorld review rather than the news as it is today, are basically clips we took during this week's Hypergrid Safari. Now, I was hoping we might have seen... oh, hey, yeah, Thursday, yay! And she's saying, what fun to be in the audience at the show. She's here. Right.
Oh.
Tell me, Thursday, you can say in text, are you free to do voice? And you can talk to me about Safari as we go along. Just have to wait for a sort of reply through the networks there. Mind you, whether she's speaking in world or on YouTube.
She's on YouTube, yep. And she says, yay, what fun, right? To be in the audience.
Yeah, that's why I'm actually asking her if she can hear me, if she wants to come in on voice on Discord. But it depends on her situation with voice. But anyway, great timing. So, until I know, this basically is Safari from last week. Now, this first clip, which is quite a long one, is from the first destination. I think it's called, was it called Tirnanug or something?
Oh,
she
I don't
will
recall,
know.
sorry.
Yeah. But anyway, let's get it playing. It's just wonderful to watch. This is a big, high, complex build. So I move the camera out. You can see what I mean. And there's also these wonderful lighting effects that were actually at the top of... right, yeah. First is saying in world, she's watching it on YouTube. Can I connect you to voice? I'd add you to our call.
If we go to in-world voice, that might be easiest for her.
Oh, she's usually in Discord anyway. Okay, I'll yeah. I was hoping she'd be around, but I don't. Yeah, I don't like to ring because I know that sometimes it's really awkward for her to do voice at home. Anyway, yeah, you can see the size of this thing and all the lighting effects buzzing around in the background here. This is, I mean, it's been a long time since I've been to a safari destination that had me this intrigued. You know, the way it's built is given away here a bit by zooming out, because we're really panning out a long way here. But the safari was just trundling around all these steps and interconnected gangways and stuff like that, you know, in an attempt to solve a puzzle. I have no idea what it was. I just kept on jumping to different places in the build, you know, which were spectacular, as it were. Okay, Cecily has just told me she can't do it today, unfortunately, but hopefully when we start the InWorld review, we'll be able to get her to pop in, you know, if only for the bits where we look back at Safari. Yeah, anyway, I said this was quite a long one. It didn't time. Oh, 1:53, it's not that long. We'll be there soon, he says. Oh, yeah, that was it. Okay. So let's get back to oh! Okay, got you there. That's the new quick intro for the InWorld review. You may remember the music and stuff from before. And what you see behind there is just a picture of a memorial for Tara Yates, who passed, very much part of the original show, and she passed a couple of years ago. Right, moving back on to Safari. This seems to be looks like one where I forgot to hide the nameplates, as it were. Well, actually, I'm not sure I should have been filming. Actually, this is probably not one I wanted to show you. I have no idea whether the state of clothing of some of these avatars was deliberate or it was a problem with mesh not being visible. But this isn't the only location that particular lady has been exposing herself. So, as you can see, we're not dwelling on her. We're moving on here to a bit more. There is James. See where I'm wiggling my mouse?
Mm-hmm.
It is fun being able to wiggle your mouse while watching video. Can't use the mouse, you know. When I watch video, I always want to right-click the mouse and pan around. And then I realise, oh, it's a video. There we are. These there were some indoor locations too, including yeah, that's straight out of the Lord of the Rings, isn't it? Somewhere hidden in there, I think I've got it on film, is a TARDIS, you know, the Doctor Who thing. And there's actually a picture of me, and there's and somebody else outside the TARDIS, and then we're going through the door. And just like Doctor Who, the TARDIS is immensely bigger inside than it is on the outside, so it captures that unreal sort of size thing. Oh, right. The destination is called Phaedra, Phaedra. So this is telling me, and the grid is the one called Ignis Fatuus. So it's IGNIS space FATWS. So Ignis Fatuus is the name of the grid, and the region is called Phaedra. I hope I got those pronunciations right, but I did just spell it out for you. Here we are. Here's a good one. Here is Sturza herself, and here is yours truly, the same avatar you're seeing today. And do you know that sound in the background?
Mm-hmm. It's a pliers on a piano string.
Oh, okay.
That's how they made the TARDIS sound, right?
That's how they made it. Oh, really? I never knew that. I knew BBC's from on the Caucus workshop or whoever they were. As you can see, we're now in the TARDIS. Not much to actually do in there, but it's considerably bigger inside than it was out. And I think it's roughly based on the view you get from the current TV show. And there we seem to be outside it again, so that wasn't a particularly long one. Right, here's a view of basically a load of the people that attended. One of the nice things I thought, if I do this each week, is really find a place where we all meet up at some point and pan around and try and capture everybody there in one sort of video shot by panning around. There'll obviously be a few people you don't get, because as you can see, you start filming and they all move off. But it's still quite a nice idea to try and do something like that. We're outside the TARDIS, in fact, of course. So I know it's James, and yes, we're all heading up. Me waiting till the end by the look of it. That's a nice costume, that Japanese one. There's a Japanese bit in here. I think that was. I think the lady in the Japanese costume was part of the team that was sort of showing us around. Maybe wrong, but I think that was the case. And yeah. Move on up, as we say. Oh, this is a nice long clip, actually. Okay, me and James together. Gosh, golly, whenever does that happen?
Rarely.
grabbing the mouse, and of course I can't spin around. But yes, there we are. You sort of mean the lighting effects, they're like in a sphere, like a skybox effect outside the building itself. So you can be standing there and, you know, doing absolutely nothing. Of course, we're not doing nothing, we're playing around. But, you know, with the frozen camera, the light is changing all the while because this whirly, swirly stuff is going on. I just call it stuff going on behind us. I can't think of another name for it, really. Filmed by Seymour Butts. What? It was filmed by me. This. This is just says it's filmed by Seymour Butts. Is that some kind of in joke? I don't understand. Or
Well, I think it's a funny name that refers to the subject of the video is
Seymour Butts.
Seymour Butts.
Yes.
Right.
Oh, clever Thursday. And you'll get into trouble. Basically, I drag and drop all the clips into my player here, so I have no warning of which I might reject. Oh, look here. Here we are. Your cameraman falls off the frigging, not the cliff, but it was landed by George. I think we both fell down. we're underwater, so I then had to maneuver my way up again. I find that rather easy. You see, I just send the camera zooming up to where I want to be, and then double click to teleport there. It's all very quick, but all right. So this modified remarks. There's a lot of buts. Just saying. Oh, I wish Ron Voice with us here would make an ideal commentary. I mean, this really was a special one too. I mean, I think it'd be a while. I'm not saying the Bad Safaris or anything like that, but I think it'd be a while before we actually end up on one that will have me as gobsmacked as this one did. It's just an amazing build, and you know, I can tell you that to put up those spirally staircases and ramps and find a way to get everything connected that isn't MC Escher either, is actually bloody hard work. I've tried doing that kind of thing myself, and like, you know, you can visualize it, but you know, actually working out the angles and getting something like that done is really not easy. Okay, we have another shot. Oh, it's her again. Yeah, filmed by Seymour Butt. Dear me. Yeah. Sorry about this, folks. Oh, I'm not sorry at all. I mean, you know, it's life, isn't it? If you've got a camera in the street, in a public place, you film what you film. Oh dear. Anyway, yeah, there's. I think that parchment there was like a part of a clue and part of the sort of questing sort of thing as well. So, but you get this is a sort of you can, yeah, there we are. All this lovely decor as well on the wall and stuff. And big compared to the Avatar, you know, it gives you a sense of sort of Indiana Jones kind of thing or something. Oh yes, and I went to check out something and I ended up on the roof. Oh, there's James who found his way up to the roof, and I was looking for him, and lo and behold, I ended up on the roof there. So, how was your rooftop sojourn, James?
It was lovely.
Yeah, yes. There was an end to it all, right on the top. Although it's not the real top. Although from this angle we can't really.
It's actually a skybox, and there were avatars inside of it beneath us, but I could not find a way inside. It might have been the TARDIS.
Oh yeah. I got into it actually, but I did it on camera. So, right, we seem to have some sound effects in the background of this one. This is lovely. I don't know why. I forget who this is, but the way I had a still photo of her too. I think the way she was framed. Ah, there's a. I recognise your dress from that day. Oh dear, no dress there. I'm not going to live this down. No, there's George Eckworth, the chap with the hat, and yeah, I'm not very good at remembering names and putting all the Avatar names to people, but sort of we'll try and get a bit more of that. This lady's cute. That sort of hat and stuff like that. And yeah, this woman just looks right posed against the moving light behind. It's excellent, but just when it works when you freeze frame. And there's the still. And let's get down the list here again. Right, this one is everybody more or less. Not me, but I guess I was too busy camming. But this is another point where everybody's sort of, including the naked lady. Look, I didn't pan in on her. She walked into my shot. Now get this right, please. Yeah, Tana Wells has been on this show, or in World Review show, several times, was there as well. Having not been around for a couple of years, she was glad I befriended her because she'd lost a lot of contacts or something. Oh yes, there we are. I'm in a very funny pose there. Yeah. So this is telling me that Tana makes all her own mesh clothes, which and she has a store on her grid Bubbles, which is Bubbles but with a Z on the end, so LES-Z. Yeah, wonderful stuff. And she's in the grey cardigan here. I'm trying to figure out where follow the grey cardigan. Where's the grey cardigan? oh, sorry. Yes, the one I was. Yes, sorry. Of course, it was Donna I was framing in there. She got lower right here with a scarf on too. Undoubtedly a mesh scarf, I suspect. It's interesting all the different costumes people turn up in, actually. If they deign to wear a costume at all, of course. Cough, cough. Yeah, that's... Of course, there's another avatar there. I don't know who it is. Who's sort of also sort of naked, but actually all white. I think it's a textured costume of some body costume of some sort that had lost its texture and turned up white. Not sure about that. Okay, and now the final stop. She did say she might be popping in here, but it doesn't look like she has. This is Beth Ghost Raven.
Nova Saunders.
Is it Nova or Beth? I thought it was Beth. Thursa can probably tell me. This was a very brief, actually. This is the only clip I've got of what was the next stop. It's a build of it's an architectural build based on real life photographs of a town in the States as it was in history, so to speak. And they were all, there we are, Portage, PA. I don't know where PA is.
Pennsylvania.
It is Pennsylvania, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So as you know, all the renditions and stuff are based on photographs and stuff with history there. And the credits there as well. And I didn't really get to film the other bit. We were all sent off. It was a bit complex. We actually had to walk down the canal to where the canal ended and the railway began. And that was so complicated trying to find myself. In fact, I didn't find my way there until I came out of camera mode and found myself offered a TP by somebody. So sadly, the only bit I got to film is this beginning bit. But I think I may have taken some still shots of the railway. But there we are. And no, it's not quite over yet.
So Thurs posted in YouTube that Portage is on the Science Circle grid.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's a Science Circle. I guess they're probably related in Second Life too. Science Circle grid, and like it's quite big. But as you get to a hill, if you walk over some of the hills and through the trees, you find yourself consciously walking onto somebody else's build in the same region. But it's all well done. You don't accidentally stumble into a neighbouring region. You actually have to deliberately go up the hill and sort of stuff like that. So yeah, there's a great big railway train on this, and I don't have film of it. I don't know what happened, but it features railway track that's on a tilt, and it goes down into the canal, and it basically shows the way things would arrive by canal. And they'd be loaded onto the train that then goes uphill and continues its journey via railway track until you come to the end of the track with a warehouse sort of on it. In fact, if I remember rightly, we went through the warehouse. So it wasn't like a dead end for the railway. The dead end for the railway came a bit later. But yeah, all very interesting stuff. So I think we are at the point of at the point of finito. Come on. Oops. So next time that will be a proper Emerald review, and that will be the intro you will see. Rather fast, actually, but there you go. So we are at the end of everything. We've done our links of the week and stuff. We got it all down to 48 minutes, which is only 3 minutes over the target and would be acceptable. And a little preview there of the sort of thing I hope we'll be doing in the Emerald review, as well as talking to guests. Like maybe, and we'll see how it goes. But the next thing we have to do on that show is build up a list of guests and stuff like that, so we got them all scheduled, and we don't, as I say, run around like headless chickens 3 hours before the show trying to find somebody. Kate, can you come on? Kate, come on. Right. I'll tell you what, James can probably come around into the audience and show you a shot of Thursday.
Well, I did that already. I can do it again.
Oh, you did. I wasn't looking. I was too busy looking
I
at my
know
sleep.
you don't like to watch the show, so there's Thursa.
I don't mind watching the show. It's just I can't do it from the back of my head. I've got the on my left. I've got the world. On the right, on the front of me, I've got the news desk, and behind my head, I've got YouTube monitor. Oh, he says looking there. Okay. Well, actually, even putting these two pieces together was an hour 10 minutes. So, as a demo of how to get the news shorter again, we've done quite well. There she is. Hey. I love those egg things are actually quite huge compared with the avatars, and everybody's cross-legged, in the tantric position inside them, so the chair swamps them out. But I think it's quite cute. It's quite nice to get little animations like that. Right. Okay. Any more thoughts, James, before we do the roundup of the roundup?
Yeah. My only thought was related to the Upload VR Games cast, which was interesting because they went to the Horizons and they covered the Horizons event, and the thing that's interesting about that, and that's I forgot the name of it. It's the arcade thing. But what's really interesting about that is that, like Open Simulator and Second Life, Horizon Worlds is a place where you build using the world. So Horizon Worlds is not built using Unity or something like that. People go in world, use the tools, and make the environment. So everything in that environment was created by people in the world, as opposed to developers using Unity. So that's been the first helmet world that really has in-world building like we have in Open Simulator. And then the other thing that was really funny was that during their broadcast of the Gamescast, they got shut down by YouTube because they had shown the after party with the Foo Fighters. And they thought that perhaps they showed an image of Dave Grohl, and YouTube saw that as copyright infringement, so it stopped their live broadcast right in the middle of the program, and they came back and they said, well, we're going to have to. They spent the rest of the episode trying to figure out how are they going to break the broadcast again with copyright. So I was worried. I was worried with the nudity from Open Simulator, YouTube might shut us down, but we're still going. We're cruising right along.
No, it would have to be well, if somebody complains, don't you dare, then it might happen. But we're actually listed as over 18s, kind of the adult thing anyway.
Right.
And it's it's not overt graphics or anything. It's just nudity. I can't. That is so funny. I mean, usually it'd be a matter of urgently trying to get hold of YouTube and convincing them that it's not pirated. But
yeah,
I've heard of that.
Their technical staff got them back online in I want to say no more than 45 seconds. It was amazing.
Oh,
yep.
That's what happens when you're a Zuckerberg, isn't it? I don't know.
YouTube is
responsive. Yeah.
YouTube is Google. Right.
Yeah. But I mean, it would have taken. I presume it was Zuckerberg or somebody at Facebook that did the complaining to get YouTube to do.
No, I think it was a YouTube algorithm. It happened, seconds after the image of Dave Grohl from Foo Fighters appeared. Right.
Yeah, I've heard of that before. It very rarely, it can happen with uploaded clips and stuff that people have gotten to actually make sure YouTube knows it's official video or something.
Right.
But with live stuff, it can happen quite a lot because, as you say, an algorithm or maybe even the moderator will look at it and think, this shouldn't be happening. We haven't been notified, so we better play it safe and kill it.
Well, the team at MBTV has not been shut down on YouTube. Knock on wood.
Oh, no, of course not. That must not never happen. I mean, that must never happen. Oh God. Anyway, Cersei's has advised me not to cam the audience. We don't need to see any more butts. They're eggs, not butts. Sorry, a different thing entirely. Right, okay. Well, I think we can round off now. We're down to 1 hour 15 minutes for the whole 2 shows, as it were. We've done rather well, I think. We will be better prepared next week. This has been a bit of a test.
Mm-hmm.
Behind us here, on the other side of where we're broadcasting from, we actually have the set underway for the other version, the in-world review, and that allows for audience guests and stuff. But it's still underway, as it were. So we'll get to work on that.
Yep.
And see what transpires. So. Thank you, everybody, either listening now or listening in replays throughout the week. Thank you to Thursday for actively participating in chat while we're watching, and sitting here too, but not in voice. And thank you, of course, to James, and thank you to myself. Well, James first. What is it? MR, XR, AR, VR, blah, blah. When it comes to that, R. Okay, we can still do it. Just about. Right. Until next week, we will be back, and I can say it again now. Same time, same place next week, because this is our new home for the time being. And yep, that is 8 p.m. in the UK on YouTube as well. And 7 p.m. in the UK, and 11 a.m. Pacific, and whatever hour it is in between or outside that. Need to draw a graph to figure it out. It's hang on, 8 p.m. in Italy, I think, or is it 9 p.m.? I don't know. But 1 hour ahead or 2. Who knows? Who knows? Anyway, so back same time, same place next week. And in the meantime, hope you all stay safe. Apparently in Britain tomorrow, the Boris one, is announcing the end of everything, meaning that even if you catch COVID, you don't have to isolate anymore. I have no idea what the fuck is playing out. It just seems like madness to me. Certainly, if you're elsewhere in the world, there is still great cause to be wary. So keep safe, stay indoors if you can, work from home if you can. Normal rules apply. And it's a downside more comfortable working from home, and of course, you can always work in virtuality. And if you don't work, you can just hop into virtuality and have some fun instead. So be it in a helmet or on a desktop, or even believe it or not, on some mobile phones, you get these virtual environments, a bit more primitive, but there you go. So stay safe, everybody, and we will see you soon. Bye for now.
Okay, outro's playing.